Tiffany Stratton has revealed the one thing that she would never do in WWE. In this video, we are going to be discussing it because Tiffany Stratton, she's just a few short weeks away from the biggest match of her young WWE career when she takes on the women's GOAT, let's be real, Charlotte Flair in a WrestleMania 41 showdown defending the women's championship at WrestleMania 41. Now, we know that match is not going to headline night one, and it's certainly not going to headline night two, but it is a key match. Keep in mind that Tiffany Stratton, she has gone up against some big time names. I'm talking about Becky Lynch down in NXT. I'm talking about Bayley. I'm talking about Nia Jax. There's been a lot of them. A lot have come, a lot have gone. But Tiffany Stratton easily, easily has her biggest match to date when she goes up against Charlotte Flair. If she wins that match, then that is going to put her over as a megastar, in my opinion, because there's not a lot of people that beats Charlotte Flair. On the flip side, and I would agree with this assessment, I do not believe that Tiffany Stratton is going to beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, but still, the fact that she's in the good graces of Charlotte Flair, that she's in the squared circle with Charlotte Flair, that she's in a feud with Charlotte Flair for the women's title, especially at the drainage stage of them all, WrestleMania, well, it's going to give her a notable rub of star power, and that's going to help her going forward. Now, before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and comment down below for more wrestling content. Now, keep in mind that John Cena sold his soul to The Rock at the Elimination Chamber, turning heel ahead of their WrestleMania 41 clash, with Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against John Cena. Tiffany Stratton, she already holds gold in WWE as the reigning women's champion, and she has no desire to sell her soul. Now, she did a recent interview with Vincent Beltran, who does a bang-up job of interviews with WWE stars, and Tiffany Stratton said, "I would never consider selling my soul to The Rock." When asked whether or not she would take his offer, asked if she would sell her soul if it meant beating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, he said, "I don't care that much." End quote. So very interesting. Now, here's the reason I wanted to talk about this. Look at the merit behind John Cena's heel turn, and look at the merit behind Tiffany Stratton. She's actually a hypocrite when she says that. Now, I understand that we are in a day and place right now where Tiffany Stratton is a babyface. But I also understand that it's very easy to poke holes in these kayfabe storylines right now because they expose the business so much. So the reason that John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, the reason that Cody Rhodes refused to sell his soul to The Rock is because The Rock was willing to make a deal with the devil, him being the devil, with John Cena. John Cena was willing to work with the devil to get the 17th world title. Tiffany Stratton technically sold her soul to the devil when she cashed in Money in the Bank. Think about it. She betrayed her good friend Nia Jax. Now, as a heel, that works. As a babyface, it doesn't. Right? Because if Cody Rhodes would have took on The Rock's offer, then he would no longer be a top babyface. He would be a top heel. Well, Tiffany Stratton obviously would say, "Well, I would never do that." Well, of course you wouldn't. You're a babyface. Keep in mind that Tiffany Stratton has been a heel the majority of her WWE tenure. He's actually been a very good heel in that. John Cena, on the other hand, has been a guy that's mostly been a babyface outside of a 2003 to 4 and now to 25 as a heel. In my opinion, Tiffany Stratton, she's doing a very good job as a babyface. It's actually surprised me at how good she's been able to adapt to this role. However, I would also make the case that I believe that she's better off as a heel. And when Charlotte Flair made her announcement that she was going to be returning, she was going to be returning at the Royal Rumble, and most people figured, okay, we're going to finally get the dream match between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I'm like, ooh, there's an issue here because you have an issue of you keep Tiffany as a heel and you bring back Charlotte as a babyface, something in which she was portraying before her December 2023 injury, where she tore ACL, MCL, and meniscus. And I'm not a huge fan of Charlotte Flair as a heel. Or a babyface, excuse me. I think she's better off as a heel, and I think Tiffany Stratton's better off as a heel. Although we have not seen her up to that point portray a babyface, so it's like, well, you know what? You could either go with what you know, and have Charlotte as a babyface who's not that sympathetic and most people don't like, is they feel like WWE pushes her down our throats as a main eventer and as a top star, and they don't see what everyone else sees, or at least what WWE management sees. And so then you have a babyface Charlotte Flair versus a heel Tiffany Stratton. Or you roll the dice and go, okay, well, we know that we get a great Charlotte Flair. We don't know what we necessarily get out of Tiffany Stratton, but maybe Charlotte can carry Tiffany to where they need to go and Tiffany can be a babyface. Well, that's what they ended up doing. And I actually think that they made the right decision. Now, I don't agree with the way that they've booked Tiffany Stratton on television. I think they've actually booked her quite weak comparing to the promos in which Charlotte Flair has cut on her up to this point. I think that they can make her a much stronger babyface, and I hope with the remaining weeks until Mania, which is about 3, that they absolutely improve Tiffany Stratton's babyface character, makes her more strong, makes her more witty, let her get some zingers on the mic, because Charlotte Flair up to this point has absolutely owned Tiffany Stratton. And that's not good when you have a babyface who's the champion, who is a newly crowned babyface who needs all of the sympathy, all of the support, all of the goodwill from the WWE fans going up against the ultra evil Charlotte Flair, who has done it all in this business, who's, perceived to be the person that WWE goes to, which is absolutely the case, easy for me to say. And so you need that sympathy. And so if Charlotte Flair's just going out there week in and week out and just absolutely dogging on this chick and not letting up and not letting Tiffany get a word in, and then you expect Tiffany Stratton to have this, over the top babyface support. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you expect. I don't know what you're thinking. So as we get closer to Mania, I would say if you polled most WWE fans, I would say 95% of them would say, you know what, Charlotte Flair is going to go over. I personally think that Tiffany Stratton should absolutely beat Charlotte Flair. Charlotte is going to get the world title record. There's no doubt about that. But I would also say you might want to save that for a John Cena if that's the case. Like, I think that's a big clue. Regardless of whether Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton happens on night 1 or night 2, it's gonna go on before John Cena versus Cody. And if Charlotte doesn't win the title, then I can see that being a big spoiler, a big indication that John Cena is going over Cody Rhodes and becoming a 17-time world champion. However, if Tiffany goes over, then I think that's a huge indication that John Cena is not going to break the world title record in which he is tied with Ric Flair for. In fact, he's going to put over Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is going to walk out as WrestleMania as undisputed WWE champion, right? So I think this match has huge, huge implications. And for me, well, I cannot wait to see